Mr. Speaker, Canadians pay the highest cell phone rates in the world, and in fact, Rogers customers pay the highest cell phone rates in Canada. The minister has stated that the Rogers-Shaw deal would alleviate those prices, but instead, in typical Liberal fashion, we're seeing it's only benefiting Liberal friends and donors while Canadians pay. Days after the announcement of the Rogers-Shaw merger, the former industry minister was appointed, and you remember he was responsible for reducing cell phone bills by 25% to the Rogers Board of Directors. Why is it always that Liberal friends and insiders benefit while Canadians have to pay?
Yeah. The Honourable Minister of Innovation.
Mr. Speaker, I think my colleague is somehow missing the point, actually, Mr. Speaker. Who are winning are Canadians, Mr. Speaker. I so wish that for those who are watching at home, they should listen to people. Canadians have asked us to do one thing, Mr. Speaker, is to bring prices down in telcos. The way to do that in Canada, Mr. Speaker, is to more competition. The way to do that is to have a fourth national player. Mr. Speaker, we have imposed the longest series of conditions in Canada's history to make sure that the telcos will deliver for Canadians as Canadians expect in their everyday life.
Member for Bay of Quinte.
Well, Mr. Speaker, if you believe that, then I actually have a Rogers cell phone plan to sell you. This Prime Minister promised in 2015 to reduce cell phone bills by 25%. In fact, last year announced in this House that they reduced cell phone bills by 25%, when the reality is that Canadians have never been cell phone bills so high since these Liberal bills have been in power. The former industry minister told Canadians he was going to negotiate with Rogers. Canadians didn't know he was just negotiating for a corner office at Rogers. Why are the Liberal insiders and friends always benefiting on the backs of hard-working Canadians?
Yeah. The Honourable Minister of Innovation.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians who are watching at home know these conservatives, Mr. Speaker. They know exactly that they're good to bring all these conspiracy theories. We've heard an hour of them today, Mr. Speaker. But one thing they know who they can trust to have their back, Mr. Speaker. It's this government. That's exactly what we've done, Mr. Speaker. That's why what they told us is to bring prices down for Canadians. They wanted more competition, Mr. Speaker. And the way to do that is to have a fourth national player.
I'm sorry, I'm struggling to hear the answer. If I can ask the minister to start over so I can hear the full response, please.
Mr. Speaker, we will take no lessons from these conservatives. Actually, you know, they even asked me from Volkswagen, Mr. Speaker. Those are the conservatives who let the auto sector down in 2011. Those are the conservatives who let the people, the good people of St. Thomas and Southwestern Ontario down, Mr. Speaker. Those are the conservatives who let 8,000 workers go down in 2011 in St. Thomas, Mr. Speaker. One thing Canadians have seen last Friday is that we invest in people, we invest in our worker, we invest in Canada. That's what Confident Nation are doing, Mr. Speaker.